This process, I think, this process can put you in position for an instantaneous learning. And an instantaneous learning or an instantaneous awareness is being inside of a thing, looking out, and you see all aspects of that thing simultaneously. Now, we're not real familiar with this kind of being, and that's because we have been taught by the society and by ourselves to think linearly, word, 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 word. That's not it. It's not it. It's not even close. You can look at what the word means and then go inside and experience that meaning. For instance, my favorite word, ignorant. Not ignorant, but ignorant. You have to take that word and take it into yourself and understand the essence by the feeling of ignorant. How much of yourself do you ignore? How much stuff that is there do we choose to ignore and continue old processes? That is, go to your head, go to your head, go to your head. Well, every time you do that, you are being ignorant. You are ignoring the divinity. You are ignoring many, many other aspects of yourself that are speaking, that you need to know. And at the same time, some of these things that will begin to come through to you, you don't want to get into, because that is just one level of understanding, and some of it is real stupid. Okay? Some of it is real dumb stuff. So you don't want to get off into it. You hear lots of voices and things saying stuff. Leave it alone. Where you want to come to is the absolute clarity of yourself and your being, where there are no other voices. There's just you. There's just this great silence. This is who I am. Now that I know who I am, I can weed through all this other stuff, all these voices and stuff. Yeah, right. But see, I know the difference in the voices and myself. I know the difference in the telepathic voices from all different kinds of places. Some of them this place, some of them other places. Some of them people you know, some of them people you don't know. So you know now who you are and are able to deal with those voices, because those voices, those thoughts were never what you were anyway. They are just tools. They are just things that give you possibilities. And you use them only as that, as possibilities. Now, what would I do if this? Oh, I need to do X. Let me see. Okay. Okay, this thought says blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'll use that one. That's all it is. Now, what we are confused by is that we are confused into thinking that we are the thoughts. That is why this whole technique is so absolutely important, to come from the thought into the being. Vibration is the essence of the physical universe. Vibration is felt. The thing that you describe with your words is a feeling, a feeling thing, a thing that happens, that is within you. That is the reality. The words that we use simply describe the reality, but we get confused. We think the words are the thing. The words are not the thing. That is why we keep trying to do something and we keep failing at it. Because we think the word is the thing. We say, oh yeah, I got it. And 10 minutes later, we're doing the same dumb stuff we did before. And you say, well, I thought I had it. Well, that's because you were still with this. And you need to come to this. But to do it, we've got to come out of our minds. And you've got to learn the way through your own mind. And really, the truth, it's really real simple. It's not that complicated. It's just that we have these other beliefs that we are real complex and we are real important and all that stuff. And it's not true. So this keeps you from doing it, from admitting and coming to who you are. Is that we think that we are much more complex and important, and it's like that actually. The truth. The truth. Over the years, what I have tried to encourage is a kind of thought process. Now, what that thought process is as long as people are stuck in their minds, you have to use their minds to get them out of it, okay? But you can't use their mind to get them out of it, all right? Because the mind is the problem. So what you have to do is order the process of mind so it brings you to a point where you say, this can't be done like this. And then you look for another way, and there it is. Do you understand? What you're doing is impossible. And there's another possibility once you realize that it's impossible and look for another way. But see, if you just realize that it's impossible and stop there, you become manic depressive. So you can't do that. You have to understand that there's something else. All is a feeling. One of the most beautiful truths is a very simple truth found in any basic science book. The basis of the physical universe is the speed of light. When you get involved with that, the simplicity of that statement, it lets you know all kinds of things. It opens you to all kinds of questions. All kinds of questions. If that is true, then what about this? What about that? What about the other? So we began to actually question. Then what my senses do is give me information. What my physical senses do is give me information based upon movement. That is sensing. Right? So the truth about this physical universe then is it's built on feeling. That tells you something, doesn't it? In order to even live with the lie, you've got to come out of your head and come into sensing and feeling cleanly and clearly. Then what you see very cleanly and very clearly is the lie. But at the same time, you see its truth. It has a level of truth. Not the truth, but truth. At the same time, in terms of the truth, it's a lie. But if you throw a brick and hit me with it, it hurts. But that also is not the truth. It is a truth. These are things that you see as you begin to take words or information and begin to use them in a different way. Not here, but here. When you smell something, you are touching the thing. There are little pieces of it that come off from it. And when you smell it, it's those little pieces that are touching the sensory membrane. And you say, I smell it. So when you smell something really rotten, putrid, dead, you're actually tasting it. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful to know? But see, that is a truth that we must know. Yeah. But see, in order, if we say, oh, that doesn't stop it from being true. And what we must learn to live with is truth. What we must accept about life is truth. Life moves on. Your life is a series of experiences. You experience them for what they are. You can't experience them for what they are as long as you are in here determining what they are, because you haven't experienced the truth about life. What you're experiencing is your hopes, fears, blah, 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 whatever all that stuff is in your head, and all those tensions are in your body. That is what you are saying that it is, and it is not. Remember when I talked about when we awaken to that which is true, there's a consistency of people across all cultures, all languages, all races, all sexes, all of that. We can all say yes and have that experience totally different in different places in the world, in different times even, and arrive at the same conclusion. You see, that's the truth. But we can't do that until we let go of the other stuff. The thing so simple as, yeah, when you pass something dead on the road and that smell gets in your nose, you got some of that in your mouth. You're actually tasting what old, dead, stinky stuff tastes like. That's the truth. To deny any of that gives us a wonderful intellectual understanding. Oh, yes, yes, of course, of course. Doesn't give you any real information. Seeing something, you're actually touching a part of it when you see it. You don't think so, because for all practical purposes, your mind tells you that it's over there. Well, yeah, but it isn't. It's because little pieces of it are bouncing to your eye, and your eye is taking it in, and your brain is making sense out of it or putting it together in a particular manner so that you can manipulate in a physical reality. But it has taken little pieces of it and made this picture. It is like film. Film takes little pieces of it you call light that hits it. That light hits it and causes these other little electrons and stuff to bounce off of it, replaces those, it bounces off, and you take that and see it. Well, it bounces off, it hits the film records it just like this does. and says, okay, this is what you have seen. But you think it's over there when actually it's in your head. It's in your eye. It's all over, yes. I'm saying, as I define mind is the mechanisms, the way you have put together how you see things. But there are also physical mechanisms that accept things. The physical mechanism itself, without all your opinions, accept things in a way that is different. And you see them differently than you do when you view it through all this. Now, the key is, one of the things I know, and is very simple, is that I know how you see the world. I'm not going to just up and tell you how I see it. Because I know all of you see it differently, and you will think I'm crazy.
We already know that.
You see? So I let the world think that I see the world the same way it does. One of the things you learn is to shut up. You see? That's what you learn. You learn, yes, and you go on about your business. Because they have tendencies to crucify, to poison, shoot, lynch, all kinds of stuff like that. When what you see and what they see doesn't agree, they have tendencies to put you in funny farms and stuff. And they have tendencies, people have a tendency, because they don't take it far enough and understand it enough, to act like they belong in funny farms. Okay, see, we're talking about becoming perfectly clear and rational. What I see is what I see. That's all. The problem is when I start running around through the neighborhood screaming to the top of my voice, it's different, don't you see it? Oh, and everybody, of course they don't see it. They see a guy running around screaming, yes. So, part of being smart, you've got to come to that part that is you, so that you are very secure and very clean in it. You accept what you see, and you can use it, and you can shift anytime you want to see it, any way you want to see it. But you know that this is about you. Not for the whole world. You may, in the context of this kind of thing, say, well, yeah. It's true. That's the way it goes. But that's what we're here for. You're not going to see me standing on the street corner saying it. No. Because one of the things that, it's called enlightenment. You see, you say, they're nuts. Look at how they behave. You say, okay, the house is talking to me. Great. Da 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 da. You go on with your business because you know they don't get it. They don't get it because they have too many other ideas. So, it is to say, all that is to talk again about, it's very simple. There's a simple truth. And I made mention of this simple truth being in any, I imagine, 6th grade science book. I would imagine. But I understand it as long as you stay in your head. What does it mean? What does that say? And I'm sure there were times in your life, and maybe even now, when you were a lot more free, that things happened between you and other people that startled you or astounded you. How did that happen? Just before something happened, you saw it. Oh, bam, it happened. How did that? You had a thought. Bam, the person called. How does that happen? Oh, it's just an interesting coincidence. We have a universe of perfect order. It has to be. If it were not so, a man and a woman would get together and produce a cat. The next offspring they had together would be a chicken, or some combination of cat chicken. As a matter of fact, when you went to bed that night and woke up the next day, you wouldn't be the same person. You'd be a chicken or a puppy dog or some combination of a dinosaur and a frog. You see, it is perfectly ordered. Were it not perfectly ordered, you couldn't have the consistency that you have. So to talk about coincidence is stupid. And I say that not as a judgment factor about people, but as a description of a condition of mind, stupefaction, clouded by an assumption. Just as minds are clouded by drugs and alcohol, it stupefies you in the same sense. Well, everything goes toward entropy. That's a part of the natural order. That is a part of the organization. Again, all things are in stability when they are in the state of no-thingness. This is being stable within God. You are forever stable within that great, quote, mental power, unquote. That no-thingness that we sometimes call spirit, or whatever all those words we have for it, to make a statement about something that you can't make a statement about. Anything coming from that position out into the world becomes unstable. This is not the natural order of things. It is temporary, because all things tend back toward that which is stable. The mental, the spirit, the whatever all those names that don't mean anything point to. You understand? It is the force we call gravity. At the center of the earth is the point of transformation from non-physical reality into physical reality. You have, quote, an atomic reaction going on there. Stuff being regenerated and made new and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and spewing up as volcanoes and stuff. Everything, all the layers of the earth tend to go toward that center and keep spewing out like this. You see it? It is the force that is pulling you back toward the non-stable. As it gets closer to the center of the earth, the more non-stable it becomes. From here it's a rock, then you start to see it get hotter and hotter and hotter and starts to melt, becomes liquid. Liquid rock you call lava becomes gas, then plasma. Then starts this process. As it comes up the other side, it becomes gas, liquid rock, spews out onto the surface of the earth, cools, and becomes rock. It pulls you and holds you to the earth because you are that of the earth, and it keeps pulling you back toward the center of the earth. And you can only hold this process off for so long. So what we call gravity is merely stability pulling you back into stability. That nothingness is what you really are. That's why I said when you go through these things, you will find when you come to what you are, there are no voices, there is no thought. There's just this total and absolute solitude and quiet. And it just is. It doesn't do anything, doesn't have to do anything. Stuff happens. We say, I want quiet. Well, it's quiet. See, now here's the tricky part. You always know where your insanity is because your insanity is a tool. All right? That means there's a moment where you have to come out and be Freddy Krueger. All right? You got to remember where Freddy is. See? But at the same time, you can't be caught in being Freddy. There's a time when something happens and you have to go and make them get back. Because that's the only thing they will understand. They don't understand. They say, well, you know, you can have this love and it will protect you. Well, it didn't protect Jesus. They nailed his butt to a cross. It didn't stop them. You understand what I'm saying? It didn't stop them because in order to feel that love, you have to be in contact with it inside. And to them, he was some guy just trying to seize power, and I got the power, and I'm not letting you have it. No way. I don't want to hear this love stuff. So there comes a time when you have to learn where Freddy is. You see? And you say, click, click, ah! And they say, oh, why didn't you say that in the first place? They get back. The point is, for all intents and purposes, it appears absolutely real because it is. You mean it. But it's like you don't mistake your clothes for yourself. You understand? It's clothes. It's not you. But you have to use it because you must be convincing. It's a world it's also about survival. So you have to survive. Or you have to control. You have to manipulate in this life to get things to happen. Otherwise, things don't happen. We like to think of that word, manipulation, as a bad word, but it's not. It's only bad when you manipulate people toward things that are not good for them. When you manipulate, I am manipulating you.
All the time.
And I'm just trying to get you to look at the proper thing, that's all. Is that bad? I think not. One of the things we talk about in our school systems is, our school systems are terrible. Well, one of the things we forget that teachers are supposed to do are to manipulate minds in the proper direction. We say, oh no, we're not supposed to do that. We're just supposed to present the facts. You've got a kid here. How is that kid going to discern what is fact and what is not fact? He doesn't know. Just 2 + 2 is 4. Okay, if you insist, okay. What you have to do is manipulate that mind into the process. What's 4? What's 2? How many is that? They see the process. The process. Now they think. You have manipulated their minds toward the process. 2 plus 2 is 4. Whoa, you just memorized that. No, 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 no. Initially, depending on the child, you may have to say, no, this. And then you watch. How you present it to them makes them start to think about it. Oh, you see, that's a manipulation. But it's a manipulation that is good for the child, that is good for the society as a whole. Right? We talk about this, the quote, real liberal thinking. Oh, any answer is a good answer. No, it isn't. No. We got into a thing at Central once. Someone said that to me. I said, okay, ask me which way to downtown. Which way to downtown? Is that a good answer? I think not. So the point is that manipulation happens. It all depends upon what you're manipulating it toward. This is why a great trust has to be set up. A trust that overcomes no matter what your doubts, no matter what your fears may be, no matter what your, quote, suspicions may be. That's where the term faith comes in. It's just to say that what each individual must learn to do is to keep their attention on the simplicity. On it is what is to be learned or what has been presented, and stay out of this. Because this introduces, says, well, what if this? What if that? What if the other? We can do that forever. There are an infinite number of possibilities that it could be, but only one that it is. So we can ask the question forever. That is our problem. We keep asking the question and don't look for answers. So again, when we talk about placing ourselves in this situation where someone is to help us achieve this, there must be faith to follow exactly what is presented. Because any contamination you bring into it takes it off. This is how you can be helped. I'm talking about helped by another. You cannot be helped by another unless you're willing to allow that process to happen and not judge what they do, but become positioned by what they do. Because all of the recognition is yours. What you are allowing me to do, or any, quote, teacher to do, is to position your head. Now, what are you going to do? I saw some kids, they were talking about carjacking. So, well, we ain't got nothing to do. If we had something to do, we wouldn't be carjacking. You're a liar. You are a liar. You got plenty to do. It's called school. It's called learning. You have plenty to do. You are lying. You are doing that because you were positioned. You were put in a place called school, positioned your head in front of a book, and you refused to see what was there. And said, well, I don't want to do this. Well, you don't know whether you want to do it or not. You haven't done it. Only until you have done it do you know whether you want to do it or not. I've often talked about sports, and people will say, well, I participated in football and I didn't learn any of that. No, you were there. You didn't participate. If you had participated, there are certain things you learn. Example, guy would hit me maybe a little unclean. Used to infuriate me. I'd want him right then and there. And then I learned, no, you just wait till the next play. So I learned you check the number and you get up. The next play. You can't find him. Where is he? Because the assignments are now different. Infuriated me, frustrated me. Sometimes I could get him, sometimes I didn't. The next step occurred to me. Just do it to anybody in the other color uniform.
Expand it. Just expand it a little bit. Oh.
Do your job at that level of intensity to anybody in the other color uniform. Oh! Then stuff started to happen. It wasn't about the revenge. It was learning the level of intensity with which I had to do my job consistently. Oh. And just wait. You'll get your shot at that one in the flow of the game. If not, wait till next year. Okay. Now, see, now what we're talking about getting weird. Holding a grudge till next year. Okay? But it's the process. You see what I'm saying? You can be there and be presented with something, and if you don't learn, you weren't in it, you were just there. Get it? In martial arts, they say, well, where do you hit him? Anything he gives you. Well, I want to hit him in the jaw. No, he keeps blocking. Okay, well, hit him in the arm. Why? Because that's what he keeps giving you. Pretty soon he'll stop that. See? You learn. We have such impatience. The task here is to teach about how something expands over what you call time. The task is teaching you about that no thing which knows no barriers such as time. That is the task in terms of your impatience. Your impatience makes you doubt. I've been doing this for so and so years now. No, not really. You've been trying. You just haven't got the hang of it yet. And you're not going to get the hang of it until you come from here to here. And when you come from here to here, time doesn't matter because now you got it. What you needed to do all along, you have now done. The thing that it took you 10 years to realize, just come from here to here, well, hey, it's done. This is how knowledge is. It's all just there in the unmanifested. Because you have been manifesting the words. The actuality or the reality is unmanifested. It is there in God. It is all there. So when you drop that, come into it, you become from the inside out. And any concept, you see all aspects of that concept now. When you start to bring that concept from that level of things into the reality that others can deal with, you're going to get it watered down quite a bit. Why? Because everybody likes to think that their stuff is valid, so you can get a little bit of truth in this world at a time. Everybody thinks that they are equally important or equally smart. No, you ain't. If you were as smart as I was, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't be debating this point. Yeah, I mean, and I'm speaking of that in terms of the ordinary world out here. You're going to see many things. How do you bring those things to a level where people can grasp it? It can be a real simple thing. It can be anything really. You see it as a whole concept, and you say it takes you months then to figure it out how to screw it up enough so that the world at large will say, "Oh wow, what a great idea!" Because that's the only way you're going to get them to understand it. Because they don't see the totality of the thing from the inside out. They only see one little aspect. That is the aspect that their mind tells them that they are interested in. So you say, well, okay, I'm going to take this little game here and I'm going to screw this thing up so bad I don't even recognize it. Now here, and you go, whoop-de-doo, wow, look at that. Okay, well. Again, once you see it, you also have to understand that that's what's going to happen, and that's okay, because that is the reality of what is. It reinforced something in me very strongly last week. I guess it was last week we did the group, and we had a group of people. First group was okay, which in my interpretation on the scale of use of intelligence and acceptance, on a scale of 1 to 10 was about 1. Okay. What? Oh, okay. It's about a 1. That was a good group. The second group wasn't even close. Well, see, what it solidifies in me about this whole process of what we're doing, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it until they get it. And they're not going to get it because they're not ready to get it. They play all these games that were totally, absolutely irrelevant. Woman walks into the room, sits in the back of the room, first person there. We've got stuff laid out on the table. I say to her, if you will move up here, there's some stuff on the... She didn't even hear the rest of it. No. I said, well, if you will... I started to explain again. No, I'm going to sit over here by the one. Sit anywhere you want to sit. And was very proud of the fact that she had done this. What I wanted to say was, look in my eyes. I don't give a damn where you sit or if you sit. I honestly don't care. So the game is irrelevant. So you're going to have an effect. What it is, I don't know. It may amount to a grain of sand. It may not. Because it all depends upon them. So when you go, you're going to change the world. Now all of a sudden you wake up, wow, boy, I can give this to the world. No, you can't. Because they don't want it. What they want to do is lock you away. And if you make too much noise, they want to nail you to a cross. Or put you in jail. Or in some way morally beat you down. Or make you look bad in the eyes of the world, which is not about that. All I'm saying to you, that also is a part of the reality. Why do you think there are enlightened beings in the world sitting atop the Himalayas where you can't find them? Oh, they're just so in tune with nature. No, they want to get away from those fools. Why do you think you can't find them? It's not big. They see you coming and they say, no. No, thank you. I'll sit here and radiate my goodness. That's my part. The hell with the rest. I'm not going down there. I don't want to be bothered. I'm staying here with the bears and the snakes and all this stuff, where stuff is stuff. Stuff is sane. This is the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. This is a reality. You want to make it different? The only thing that you can make different is you. Then you do what you do. That's it. That is it. You worry. You worry about, well, God, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. The economy, this, that. Stop worrying. It's not going to help. Do what you need to do. You will see something. Poof. Say, oh, okay. It'll be all right. It's going to be fine. It'll be just fine. I can't tell you what that means because you have to come out of here into here. That technique. Use that technique. Use it, use it, use it, use it. I have waited, I don't know, let's say at least 10, 12 years on the recognition of that. Yeah. See, I'm patient. See, but that's what a lot of these words, I say, that's why you have to listen to them and get what they mean. A lot of these words have been saying, do this, without saying, doggone it, you do this. That's not the way you do that. Not if you want to stimulate thought. All right. So much for today. I hope we have clarified it a little bit and given you just enough to whet your appetite so that you will kind of go after this thing. Thank you. Namaste.